Hello everyone, I am going to discuss about Economics Chapter 2, Sectors of the Indian Economy. In the previous chapter, you have learned about economic development, development goals of different people and per capita income. Now we are moving to Gross Domestic Product, GDP. What is GDP? It is the money value of all final goods and services produced within the country during a particular year. Let me explain the definition in detail. GDP is the money value of all final goods and services produced within the country during a particular year. Money value, it is the monetary value. Final goods, goods that are ready to consume. Services, different types of services. Within the country means within the domestic territory of a country. So we can define GDP as the money value of all final goods and services produced within the country during a particular year. Sectors or economic activities in any economy. There are three sectors in any economy: primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector. Primary sector deals with agriculture and allied activities. Secondary sector is the manufacturing sector. Tertiary sector, all types of services like banking, health, insurance, etc. With the help of these three sectors, I am going to reframe the definition of GDP. GDP is the total sum of the value of the final goods and services of the primary, secondary and tertiary sectors of the economy of a country produced during a year. The sum of the production in the three sectors gives us GDP. That is, we need to add the total production in three sectors. How do we count the various goods and services and know the total production in each sector? By a simple method, price multiplied by quantity produced, price into quantity. For example, the value of 5,000 coconuts at ₹20 per coconut will be 1 lakh. We'll look at another example. How to count the total production of this final good for the calculation of GDP? Suppose the price of this final good is 80 rupees. Price into the quantity produced. 80 is the price multiplied by the total quantity produced. But remember, one precaution we need to take while the calculation of GDP. We need to include the final goods and services only. Intermediate goods or inputs used up in producing final goods and services are not taken into consideration. The value of final goods already includes the value of all the intermediate goods that are used in making the final good. So we are counting the value of final goods only. Otherwise, it will lead to double counting. Suppose the price of this final good is ₹600. The price of all ingredients like milk, sugar, cocoa, etc. and other cost of production are included in the price of this product. Some ingredients like milk, cocoa, etc. are the final products from the primary sector, but here these are the raw materials or intermediate goods used in the production of this product. While calculating national income, we are counting the value of final goods only. The value of intermediate goods are not taken into consideration. Now moving to historical change in sectors, developed and developing countries. In the initial stages of development, primary sector was the most important sector of economic activity. With the industrialization, a shift had taken place from primary to secondary In the past 100 years, there has been a further shift from secondary to the tertiary sector in developed as well as developing countries like India. In the initial stages, all the economies were concentrated on primary sector. With the coming up of industries, a shift had taken place from primary to secondary. In the past 100 years, there has been a further shift from secondary to the tertiary sector, and that shift is similar in developed as well as developing countries like India. Now I am moving to share or contribution of GDP in India. Share or contribution of sectors in GDP in India. Tertiary sector provides the maximum share in GDP. Coming to the employment. Share of sectors in employment in India. The primary sector continues to be the largest employer even in the 21st century. Disguised unemployment is a major problem. There are more people in agriculture than is necessary. In India, more number of people are employed in the primary sector, but due to disguised unemployment, the share of primary sector is low. Tertiary sector provides the maximum share in GDP in India. Now we will check why the tertiary sector is becoming so important. Which are the reasons behind it? There are few reasons behind it. First of all, tertiary sector is considered as the basic service. We need the services of hospitals, educational institutions, banks, etc. Secondly, the development of agriculture and industry leads to the development of services such as transport, trade, storage, etc. Greater the development of the primary and the secondary sectors, more would be the demand for such services. Two more reasons are there. Third, as income levels rise, certain sections of people start demanding many more services like dining out, tourism, shopping, advanced medical facilities, etc. Last reason, certain new services based on information and communication technology have become important and essential. For example, online trade and online banking. Coming to homework and assignments. Read first 7 pages of the chapter. Assignment questions. Question number 1. Which are the sectors in any economy? Explain with examples. Question number 2. How do we count the various goods and services and know the total production in each sector? Question number 3. What is GDP? Question number 4. Why is the tertiary sector becoming so important in India? Explain. Last one. What is disguised unemployment? Explain with examples from primary and tertiary sectors. Mark the answers in the textbook itself and learn. That's all for today. We'll see you in the next session.